Hello there. I wanted to take a quick look at what's happened in the markets over the last few weeks and what our data and data tools have told us about what's happening and what we might have done about that. So let's first look at the general market and when and why we might have decided to get back into the market after the recent fall. This is SPY, the S&P, that we're looking at in Telechart with just a very simple indicator here, a 20-period moving average of the high and a 20-period moving average of the low, giving us a channel. You don't need indicators, it's really all in price, but it's a visual indication of where things might have changed. The market made its low here on the 23rd of March, and I'm not for one moment suggesting that we or anybody else could have called this low, but this was clearly the important date in the market. And we would have been looking pretty closely at this point, and we're going to see that we make a high, we make a higher low, and we break this high to make a higher high, and we then have a strong downward bar, followed by a bar which breaks the high. So the effort that was put in by the sellers on this bar has been overcome in the very next bar by the buyers. Now, this isn't really intended to be a trading lesson. I'm simply saying that we'll look at the market as from this date here, which is the 23rd of March, and we'll bear in mind that it might have been as late as the 8th of April before we really thought about getting in. But let's have a look what happened based on these dates. So here on the website, this is the relative strength trend lines chart. As the name suggests, it is showing us a trend line for each sector with regard to its relative strength. Normally, when we're talking about relative strength, we see a single data point. At the right-hand edge of the chart here, we're seeing a relative strength ranking number for each sector, and this is normally all that one would be able to see. The purpose of having a trend line for each of these sectors is that we can see how the sector has performed measured by relative strength and compared to every other sector at any point in time. So we can look backwards and see where a given sector started to move up, where it started to move down, and most importantly, where it currently is in its journey, whether it's overextended, whether it's just started to move in one direction or the other. It's really just like looking at a trend line on a price chart, but we're looking at the relative strength of a sector instead. And the 20th of March, where is that? It's here. Okay, so what we can see is that for sure that the drug sector has had a huge run up since 21st of February, basically. It's had 5 consecutive weeks up. There would be little doubt as we moved along week by week here that this was the sector to be looking at. And while many other sectors are dropping, this has been a consistent rise. And of course, fundamentally, it's not that much of a surprise that the drug sector would be doing well under the current circumstances. Okay, so we'd be interested in looking at the drug sector, and we want to know what happened from the 20th of March, and we want to look also at the 8th of April. So if I open this data here in Excel, this is the industry sector and symbol relative strength ranking data that we have on the website, also updated every week. On the website, we only see the current week, so I'm looking at the data here in Excel, which is for the 20th of March, as we see here. So this is the data that would have gone on the website on the 20th of March. And if we sort this descending here by the relative strength ranking of the sector, it is indeed the drug sector that comes to the top. And if we then sort the stocks within that sector, also by descending relative strength rank, we have the highest performing stocks in the highest performing sector. And all I've done really here is I've just taken a screen full of these top stocks here, 20 or 30, I didn't really even count, and I've put them into a watch list in AmiBroker here, 37 symbols it was, REGNBIB, RETA. There we are. We can see it's the same list. Now, a simple check here. This is a simple piece of temporary code in AmiBroker, which is allowing us to look at the close 21 days ago. That's 21 trading days, which is the 8th of April date that we're interested in. We can see the move from that time until the current close. We can see the percentage of that move. So if I run that, we can see at a glance that there are some very good moves here, and in fact only one of these stocks has a negative result. If I sort this descending, we can see clearly the extent of these moves. This is from the 8th of April over 21 trading days. Now, I'm not saying that we would have captured all of this move, but my question really is that if you have a list of stocks that provides you with moves of this magnitude on a date where you've already established that you'd be considering getting back into the market, the question really is, are you able to make money from moves like this? And to be honest, I find it difficult to see how one wouldn't. But of course, trading is trading, and we also need to look at the charts, and some of them are wild and woolly. Let's have a look here. This is the first one on the list. Let's just double check. TGTX previous close was 1010, and it's had a move of 88%. Let's have a look on the chart. Here is the 8th of April where this vertical line is, and the close is indeed 1010, and we can see that this stock has gone to 19 currently, which is obviously almost 100% rise. There's very little adverse movement here. It's worth noting also that this is that same moving average channel, just depicted a little bit differently on this trading platform. But you can see here in this case that we've come up above this channel, and once again we've had a strong down bar here, and the point at which the high of this down bar is broken is going to signify that the sellers have made a big effort, but their effort hasn't worked out and the buyers have taken over again. Now, as I say, this isn't a trading lesson, but if you just, as a trader, if you just take a look at this, we've come up above the channel, we've gone sideways, and we've had a solid breakout. We know the general market is in sync with this. We know that we're trading one of the highest performing stocks in the market at the moment, and had we taken an entry on this day, we have an 80% gain to date over just a few weeks. We'll just make one more check and then we'll have a quick flip through of these charts to see what they look like. The next stock on the list is ADVM, and the previous close was 1073. Here it is. Close is indeed 1073, and once again this stock more than doubled at its peak. After coming back down here, we're still seeing a gain of 84%. Once again, it's pretty much the same thing here. If you've broken above this channel, if you waited just for a red bar and the high of that red bar to be broken for a pretty simple classic entry, you really can't go wrong, because the movement of the stock itself, the movement of the underlying stock, is the wind in your sails. It's what causes your trade to be successful and pretty easy. So let's have a look at some of these stocks here. If we go to the top of the list, of course, they're not all going to look brilliant, but the question to ask yourself is really whether you could have made money from knowing that this was a date to be looking for an entry. So here we go. We'll have a very quick flip through here just to see what the charts show. Some of them, like I say, are pretty wild and woolly. Some of them, like this, just show a really easy move to a pretty fantastic result. Many of them, as you see, just really didn't have an adverse move after this day that we're looking at, the 8th of April. They've just pretty much gone straight up. Some of them, like this, if you, I don't know whether you'd have got an entry. No, you wouldn't have got an entry. You'd have waited for your pullback, your red bars, and had you taken an entry here, for example, this is the 15th of April. Once again, it doesn't look back. You're going to go from $7.50 here to 16. Which one is this now? INO. INO is here. It's showing a 28% move because it's taking into account this fall. It's looking at the price where we are today. But obviously, had we been trading this, we're going to stop out somewhere up here or exit, because we have a great deal of volatility and a very large down bar. These are trading details, but I'm sure you can see that from a more than 100% move here over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trading bars, you'd be hard pushed not to make good money from stocks that are moving like this. So we'll continue, quick flip through, and you're going to see very much the same thing. Obviously, some of these didn't go very far. Some of them are not as good as others. But in general, it's pretty easy to see that the stocks that are produced by using this data really are the stocks that you want to be in. Now, these are obviously very large moves that we're seeing here. I'm not for one moment claiming, let's be clear about this, that we would make all or any of these moves in our actual trading. In actual trading, obviously, we need a plan for an entry, a plan for an exit, and a plan to manage and control our risk, all of which have an effect on how much of a given move we make on a given trade. So it's impossible to say exactly what any of us could have done with these moves. But you have to ask yourself, if these stocks have seen moves like this and you were watching the market from where it put in the bottom and you found a reasonable, rational place to start trading again, and the date of the 8th of April was fairly safe and conservative. My question is, do you think you could have made money from this list of stocks? Because it seems to me that it would be virtually impossible not to. Of course, there is always the consideration of what the charts do, and a percentage move doesn't mean to say that we were successful in extracting money. Again, it's just a question really of thinking about what having data like this available to you can do for your trading. If you're trading a list of stocks like this, I won't say it makes it hard to fail, although that's almost the case, but it certainly makes it a heck of a lot easier to succeed. Okay, there we are. That's my quick look through for today. Today is the 8th of May 2020. See you soon. Bye bye for now.